Bohangirl84 and welcome to my once again video series. In this episode, we're gonna check out a little bit of Super Castlevania IV. Alright, without further dudes, let's get right into it. There we go. Jeez, I think I'm playing like nothing but Konami games. Well, except Shaq Fu. For those of you that don't know, this game is a reimagining of the first Castlevania game, which I always found interesting when they remake a game or even a movie or anything for that matter. I'm just gonna put my name as usual. Oh, didn't mean to do that. How do I do? There we go. Alright. I'm playing with, as you saw in the beginning of the video, I'm playing with the Retron 5, so I'm not playing with a standard Super Nintendo controller, so I'm still just kind of getting used to this. And there you go. So this game is a remake of the first Castlevania game, which didn't come out too long before this game. This game came out in 1991, and here we are, the game proper. So like I said, this was the first Castlevania game that I ever played ever, and this was only a few years ago that I played it. I never played this series as a kid, which is really unfortunate, kind of thinking back. And here we are, no turning back. And so begins the long trek of Simon Belmont to defeating Dracula, which is pretty sweet. And I love this song. This is Theme of Simon, actually. And it actually plays again at the end of the game, which is really awesome. And I love how they did it. When you're fighting Dracula, spoiler alert, I mean, jeez. When you're fighting Dracula, it starts off with another song, but then when you're like beating him, it transitions to this song, which is again Theme of Simon, which I thought that was a really nice sort of touch. I really love the details in this game. Why would I want to come? I don't know why this door's here. Let me see. There you go, wall chicken. I think the jury's out on whether that's chicken or a pork chop. I've heard pork chop. Some people think it's a pork chop. Some people think it's, I don't know. I personally think it's chicken. It looks like a leg of chicken. A chicken leg. So, that's what I'm gonna go with. I didn't notice do you see that thing blinking up there where my whip is going? I have no idea what that is. Maybe that's a nightclub back there? I have no idea. Club Dracula. So, like I said, this is the first Castlevania game that I ever played, and like I said, it was only a few years ago, and I chose this as my first Castlevania game. I told myself, I said, I gotta get into this series at some point in my life as a gamer. You know, I can't call myself a gamer without playing at least the major game series, major games. And though I've been gaming my whole life, there's still so much that I've just kind of like, I'm only starting to get into, which is really like unfortunate. I don't know. For example, I just recently bought the Legend of Zelda, like the original Nintendo game, and I'm looking forward to checking that out. Maybe that'll be one of my other videos. So this was the first game, and the reason why I chose this as my first Castlevania game was because I saw the... Oh, come on, dude. I know you're back there. There we go. I saw the Angry Video Game Nerds sort of review, multi-episode review of kind of various games in the Castlevania series, and I actually reference him a lot. I actually really like a lot of his videos. Good, bad, or indifferent, whether you like his new or his old work. He has a lot of information, and he recommended this as the first game. Like, if, you know, because of the way Simon, you can control the whip. In most of the other games where the whip is your main weapon, you can't whip in all these directions. Like, you can't do this in the other games. You can only sort of whip ahead and maybe whip down if you jump. I followed the advice of the AVGN and said, let me check out this game. And I actually first played it on my Twitch channel a few years back, and I loved it. The good thing about this game is that it has infinite continues, which is great, which I really needed, because there was a boss. It was actually, I think, the third to last boss in this game. Third or second, I believe it's third though. Third to last boss, and I had such a tough time with him. It's this bird-like enemy that has a spear, and then he kind of attacks you after that. And okay, made it to the first boss with full health, which is good. Oh boy. Oh dear. Well, this is... Okay, I guess the head is the only freaking... Oh my god. Okay. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Shit. Okay. Okay, you're gonna go... Oh, he... Oh my god, are you serious? Okay. Yeah, gotta land that cool pose. It seems like old games, that was like kind of the goal, you know? New games, not so much, because you don't have level to level transition. You go from one world to the next. I kind of miss that in old games. In most videos that I've seen of this game, I've seen people try to hold on to this weapon here, this sort of cross type thing, especially if you can get this sort of upgrade where you can shoot through 2 or 3 at a time. What was that? I guess that was a 1-up. Sounded like a 1-up. Alright, so we're gonna keep going. Alright, so this is the mid-level boss right here. Which is Medusa. I'm gonna see. There you go. I'm gonna really... Oh, crap. She's... Oh, that sucks. Okay, this is not good. Okay, that works. So if you get an upgrade, you can shoot 2 or 3 of those crosses at a time, but right now, since I don't have the upgrade... Oh, there it is. There's a number 2, so that means I can shoot 2 of these weapons at the same time, or have 2 of them on the screen. So, since playing this game, I've also played, as I said before, I've played Symphony of the Night, which I really like a lot. It's very different from this game, obviously, for those of you that know. And I've also played Dracula X, which was really hard for me to find. I actually have a copy of it for the Super Nintendo, which maybe I'll check out. I tried playing it one time. I couldn't get past the first boss. It was ridiculous. I've also played Bloodlines, which is a Sega Genesis title, and I believe it's the only Sega Genesis Castlevania game as far as I know. It's pretty good too. It's actually pretty good. See, most people talk about this game, Super Castlevania IV, and, you know, the original Nintendo trilogy, that sort of thing. So we're moving on to Stage 3. Oh my gosh. Well, I am half Jamaican, but no, Stage 3. Here we go. I actually like this song too. Like I said, I like the kind of like medieval feel of a lot of this music. And this music I actually like playing a lot when I'm like studying or doing some work at my job. Oh god. Look at my health already, and I haven't even gotten more than 20 feet from the entrance to the stage. Okay, this is bad. This is bad. These bats are following me. Okay, better. Let's keep going. So I've actually played Bloodlines. And what other game have I played? I've played a little bit of Harmony of Despair, which is a multiplayer game. It's actually a lot of fun. I would recommend it too. There's not a big community in it anymore because the game is a few years old now. But I played it I played it a couple times by myself because I just couldn't find anybody else to play with online. And then I also managed to find some people to play it with one day. They were mostly in Japan though, but they were actually really, really nice. There wasn't any in-game chat or anything like that, which I always find amazing. That even to this day, I can understand games that came out before Xbox Live and PSN were, you know, popular and stuff. But games that come out this day where you still don't have in-game chat, and there's still games that are like that come out, which is, I find that incredibly surprising. So you can't really talk to anybody, so you can do this like ad-libbing thing, which reminds me a lot of Resident Evil Outbreak. By the way, I don't know if you can do that, if you can also sort of whip projectiles out of the air in other Castlevania games, so I like that a lot about this game as well. But anyway, I played a little bit of Harmony of Despair, and I was the most inexperienced person there because I'd gotten the game relatively late, and so people were being very helpful. They were kind of teaching me, you know, as best as they could without being able to talk to me, how to jump, how to get past certain obstacles. So it was actually really nice, and it felt nice. It felt nice feeling a sense of camaraderie in an online game. I mean, I didn't mean to do that. I knew that thing was gonna fall, and I was trying to bait it out, but it's still okay. Just have to sort of be careful there. And it felt nice to feel that sense of camaraderie. I like games that are like that, and it's really a shame that most online games to this day people are very hostile in them. Although, interestingly enough, I do have to say, also recently I've picked up playing, and I thought I would never say this, I've picked up playing Modern Warfare 3. I've not played any of the newer games, the newer Call of Duty games. Like, I have Advanced Warfare. I do. I actually picked it up because I was gonna play with a friend of mine, but we kind of never got together, so I just haven't played it yet, but I have it for the PS4. And I played a tiny bit of Ghosts, but I really just couldn't get into it like I got into some of the previous Call of Duty titles. And you know the usual. If you've played those games, you know the usual kind of hostility that you encounter there. It goes from like you pretty much can never talk with anybody. And the sad thing is that it wasn't always the case like that, even with random people. Like, what I do now in a standard online game is I just kind of either don't even bother plugging in a microphone, so I don't have to hear anybody, although you can still hear them, but you don't have to speak to them. Or if I have a microphone, because I feel like, kind of using my... Okay, I can't reach that. There we go. Alright. Okay, good. You just kind of like, you put yourself in a party so you don't have to put up with people, hearing people talking. Oh, God. Oops. Thank God the ground is still appearing down there. Okay, let's see if I can swing over here. I actually like the platforming a lot in this game. It's challenging, yes, but it's good. It's a fair kind of thing. I really despise games that have platforming elements, but their controls are just so unfair that you wind up falling not because you're bad at the game, but because the controls are really inadequate. It's like they didn't bother testing it, and they just said, here, you know what? It's your problem now. I think I have the maximum number of hearts, so I may as well just kind of use them, right? I'm not going to bother going that way. I'm just going to see if I can exit the stage and keep it moving along. Alright, let's go. And inevitably with games, with games where you die a lot, like this game, I'm going to die a lot, I know that. You invariably get really good at the beginning sort of stages of the game. Oh, shit. And that's what I get for bragging. I'm really sort of fascinated by the lore. How many... Okay. That happened. Alright. I don't really have any, negative things to say about this game. I mean, even though I die every once in a while, I'm not the kind of person that... I try not to be a sore loser. I admit that I'm not 100% on that, but you know what? I feel like fair is fair. If a game provides a fair challenge, then I'm all for it. I'm good. I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, it's okay for me to die a few times. It's fine. The game has its challenges, and it's fair, and it's fine. And I actually like it. I actually like it a lot because it provides you with a sense of accomplishment. When you finally, for example, get through a level, and you can get through a level without dying. You can get through a level without even getting hurt. That's kind of like the best thing, right? Like, if you get through Contra, for example, without dying even once, like that's the tits right there, man. You are the shit. Like, oh my gosh. And I kind of miss that these days. I mean, you hear me talk about it a lot. But it's true. It's like, for the most part, and maybe I'm just playing the wrong games. I'll be completely fair. Maybe I'm just playing the wrong modern games. But feeling that sense of accomplishment is something that I rarely feel these days, and I feel it more so with older games, like games on the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Genesis. And those are really my favorite sort of... When I think retro, that's what I think. I mean, I know that there's certainly older systems, and that there's certainly systems that are slightly newer than those, that are still considered retro, like the PlayStation 1. Which, yes, I do consider that retro as well, and I need to, get back to those. To me, the PlayStation 1 was, the last sort of retro system, in my opinion. People even call the PlayStation 2 retro already, and I'm like, no way. Some of those games still look graphically comparable to games today, games coming out today. Ooh, that was really bad timing. I got lucky there. And for people to say that that's this bird always gets me, by the way, because I always forget that he's there. Okay. Oh, never mind. He's got his buddies here. Okay. Alright, so at least that could have gotten worse. I could have gotten knocked out of the level, which is okay. So I'm glad that worked out a little better than usual, I do have to say. And now I'm actually in full health, which is fantastic to me. I'm really happy about that. So like I said, I really don't have many negative things to say about this game. The music is awesome. I like it a lot. It's got a mix of some new, very sort of, would you call it ambient? I don't know. Because I think some of the songs are iconic. Like Theme of Simon was first introduced in this game. And it wasn't in the original Castlevania game, I don't think. Was it? I don't think so. I need to play that. And, okay, one of these, there we go. One of those spits out those 3 things, the other one spits out flames that are like that. So, for the most part, I kind of like to stand on this platform. Seems to work out the best for me. Okay, we're gonna do that. There we go. I'll tell you, that whip is OP. Watch me whip, watch me nay-nay. Oh, God. Yes, I got bit by that bug. That's such a catchy tune, and the dance, I'm not one to really know how to dance very well, but that dance, I'm kind of addicted to it. Alright, come back here. Now he's gonna stand. Come on! I thought I hit you. There we go. Hey! Yes! And yes, that song right there, that little victory tune, yes, I do use that for my intro to this video series because it's that awesome. Oh, this stage. What can I say about this stage except watch those green platforms and watch them well, because you can walk over them just fine, like you saw me walk over them, but if you jump on them, that's your ass right there, because especially if you don't have the most responsive controller. Like, this is actually not the most responsive controller, so you might see me screw this up a few times. So this game, the stage starts out easy enough where you're just kind of like walking over everything, and oh my god, I thought I was gonna fall through the stairs. Okay. Here we go. So you see, like I said, you can walk just fine. Doesn't move. But like literally, as you're landing, you have to immediately jump. So I'm gonna see if I can. There we go. Oh god. Oh my god. I almost crapped my pants right there. Oh gosh. It's like you have to like immediately slam on the jump button to have a chance. And now look at this shit right here. You have to jump on this one, and if you don't jump, you fall on this one down here, which, oh, you saw that, huh? Okay. So they put one directly underneath, They put one directly underneath the other one. Just to mess with you. Just to mess with you. But it's not too bad. I'm pretty sure that if you have a good working Super Nintendo controller, it's just fine. Otherwise, you just have to kind of work it. Alright, that actually wasn't too bad. I'm surprised. I thought for sure I would have to try that part about a couple times. I usually do. Okay, so now we have... What enemy do we have here? What little sub-boss do we have here? A skull? Oh, God. Ugh! Look at that tongue! Ooh! Okay. Alright. Okay, somehow this is good. Oh, he's like tonguing me. That's gross. And he exploded into some footballs. And we keep going. Oh, this part. This part is like iconic to me. When I think Super Castlevania, this is the part I think of. This part right here. Watch. Oh, God. Hang on. Jesus. Okay, that was way too close for comfort right there. That wasn't very good. Alright, just kind of like hang around. Okay. When I first played this part, I didn't know what was going on. I mean, this part right here is straightforward enough, where you're just kind of like, it tells you to hang. You have this very obvious like gold little knob that you have to hang on, which is fine. But then I thought, you see those two sort of blocks back there to the left? I thought I was supposed to jump on those because I thought the Medusa heads right here were infinite. So I kept jumping over them, and I kept dying, and I didn't know why, and I was just like, what the hell's going on? I think I had to wind up looking at a walkthrough to realize, oh, you have to fight a few Medusa heads and then hang on again. So I don't know why that wasn't clear to me. It probably was clear to everybody else, but you live and you learn, you know what I mean? So there you go. Okay, so we're gonna keep this moving along. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Alright. And in true Bohan fashion, there you go. Didn't even die in a hard part. That was an easy part. Ridiculous. Oh. Okay, so now it's gonna get a little tricky. You know why? Because my whip is a little shorter. Okay, here's the question for you guys. Now, this game, you heard a little bit of Theme of Simon in this game. Theme of Simon also actually appears in a lot of different forms in more recent Castlevania games, like in some of the newer games, and I like those versions a lot. But I just think the classic Theme of Simon in this game is like the best. So, oh shoot. And sorry guys, I'm kind of trying to concentrate on not getting knocked into the spikes. Pulling a little matrix moves here and there. This is not good. Okay, I think we're good. There we go. Alright, we're gonna try that again. But I actually am starting to sort of debate with myself whether the Theme of Simon version that you hear in Bloodlines, remember that's the Genesis game, which I don't know how many people played that game. It's actually pretty rare. I had a tough time getting a copy myself, but I did, which is pretty awesome. And which I think I'm gonna try to play. I want to really play it in this series, in this video series, but I'm having some technical issues with the Retron 5. Okay. Okay, I can breathe a sigh of relief. If you guys haven't played Bloodlines, check it out. It's got an interesting sort of element to it where you can play as one of two characters. Neither of them are Belmonts, interestingly enough. One of the names is Jonathan Morris, or John Morris, or something like that. One of them is Jonathan Morris, and it's a father and son. And I love how I had 5 lives originally, and now I'm down to 1, which is crazy. One is John Morris, the other one's Jonathan Morris, and I can't remember who's the father, who's the son, but you play as one of them, and then you play as another character named Eric Licard, or Eric Licardi, but I don't think any of them are Belmonts, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's kind of interesting, because it sort of reminds me of Sonic and Knuckles in a way, because you can play as one of two characters, and depending on the character you play as, there's different areas you can access, because each of them have different abilities that allow them to go into different parts of whatever level it is that you're playing. So I find that kind of interesting. I don't know if that's a Genesis specific thing. I've seen that in Genesis games. I don't think I've seen, maybe that exists in some Super Nintendo games, kind of the character specific level design, but I find that kind of interesting. But anyway, it's a fun game. I would love to play it for the series. The only problem is that if I try to play it on the Retron 5, the first 1.5 levels work fine, but then after that, oops, I don't know if those spikes are instant death, so I wasn't gonna take any chances. So anyway, I get about midway through level 2, and then all of a sudden the game just kind of stops and it just boots me back to the main screen, which is really unfortunate because the game is pretty decent. So if I can figure out what's going on there and I can get past that level 2, because, you know, the first 2 levels are fun, but I would love to get past them. But anyway, you get to the final level and Theme of Simon plays. And it's interesting because Simon Belmont's not in the game, and the song is literally called Theme of Simon. Like, that's the name of it. It's this person's theme. But I really like the version of the song that plays there as well. And I'm starting to debate whether that version of the song is as good or even better than this version of the song. The version that plays here, that is. Whoops. Alright. And I know there's a set pattern to those blocks falling from the ceiling. I don't know how far this guy's gonna walk. I forgot he throws. I don't think he walks far, but he does throw the blocks as well, so I just have to be a little bit careful here. Okay, that axe has a little bit of an arc to it. Okay, how many times are you gonna... Oh, he's dead. So the obligatory... You know, I play a lot of Call of Duty. Oh, yeah. But goddamn, this game's awesome. I'm falling in love with this game all over again. I loved the game, then I hated it because of one of the bosses, but then I loved it again. I do have to keep an eye on... Oh, well, that was useful. There was no enemies on the screen at the time. That little, like, cross-type thing. That little cross-type thing eliminates all the enemies. And we're done. Lord. This is my last life. I'll either quit after this level or after this life. But all in all, I have to say, I do agree with I think the vast majority of people's assessment, which is that this is the best sort of classic Castlevania game. I agree. I like Bloodlines. I don't have a comment about the trilogy because I haven't played those games yet. but I guess that they're good. I heard they're hard. But I think that from what I've heard, I think that this game really sort of perfected what made those games good, and kind of added a bit more to sort of help the player out, which is always a good thing. And I bet you that enemy's gonna follow me, even though I'm way over here. Oh, I guess not. I got lucky there. Okay, good. So we're gonna keep going. That enemy always like flies off, the one that was at the top of the screen. Okay. Just kill you. Well, it's good to kill him anyway because they do shoot those little flame balls. Okay. And that's another thing. While you can whip in all sorts of directions, the bad thing is if you do this sort of like what I like to call a weak whip, it doesn't hit the enemies. It'll still hurt the enemies, but it may not kill the enemies like a straight whip will. And just gonna go ahead and continue on. We're almost there. We're almost to the entrance part, the actual like entrance, which is good. But all in all, like I said, the music is great. I think the graphics really hold up for a game that's well over 20 years old, well on its way to being 30 years old. And I cannot believe that I'm saying that, because if this game is that old and I'm older than the game, oh my goodness. But if you guys haven't had a chance to play this game, I would say seriously do so, because it is great. It's a lot of fun. You might get frustrated, but frustrated in a good way. It's like I said, fair challenge. There's games that are just brutal. This game, to me, doesn't really fall in that category. It's tough, but it's a good kind of tough. It's very rewarding. So, just gonna go ahead and end it here. Maybe I'll do a let's play of this game. Who knows? I'll think about it. You guys let me know in the comment section if you want to see that. I can do it. I believe I can. I believe in myself, and that's the moral of this story. But want to thank you guys so much for watching, and like I said, if you have any suggestions as to any video games you want to see in this series, where I just kind of either explore a game I've never played before, or just kind of recall childhood memories of it or past memories of it, let me know and I will do it. Maybe 17 years after you request it, but I will do it. Alright, so thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time.